Get ready to travel back in time. This is our unboxing of our game, Timelancers. So this is a special unboxing. This is the first mass production copy that we have, Timelancers. We also have our expansion, the Enforcer expansion pack. Comes with everything that you need for the 5th player. And we have the game mat.
For those of you who don't know, Timelancers, the past is a weapon. In the 22nd century, warring political factions hire freelance time travelers to go back in time and change the past to reshape the future. 1 to 4 players, 60 minutes, ages 12 and up.
So this is everything that comes in the box. You have the rule book and punch outs. So the punch outs we have are the city tiles.
City tiles, we've got our money, our goal markers, upgrades, and then the first player marker too.
So looking at the rule book, 24 pages, back page is a reference page. You have frequently asked questions. We have the credits and all that. Reference for the city tiles and the game variants. But realistically, it's 19 pages of rulebook to learn how to play our game, Timelancers. We have the resource trays. So there's 2 resource trays. They're exact copies of each other, but what we like is that when you put them together, they do kind of create the full gear marker. But when you have them, you open them up, and then there's spots for all the resource pieces, for the time gems, the upgrades, 2 types of money, and the time locks. But you have 2 of those, so you can separate them on the table, and they're exact copies of each other, so each side can have a little bit, so that no one's reaching around the table to try to get different pieces. And then the pieces that go in them are, you have the med kits, so the red med kits.
Got our time locks.
You have your attaché cases.
Communicators.
You have your disguises, your weapons, and your cameras. You can see in the middle tray, it holds the 5 character pieces: yellow Laren piece, purple June piece, the green Tacy piece, the red Kylan piece, and then the black Enforcer piece. So these are the playable characters in the base game. Each player is a Timelancer. This is the Enforcer. It's used in the base game to take actions in between rounds that can stop the Timelancers. In the top tray, you have room for the game mat if you buy the game mat. Then you have room for the first player marker on this side. And then over here, you put the goal markers. Every game comes with the board. We prefer the mat because part of the mechanic of the game is that you're going to be ending up flipping over the city tiles a lot during the game. So to keep them from knocking or moving around or jostling when you budge the table or anything like that, cardboard on cardboard doesn't seem to stay nice and put. Whereas with the game mat, it'll stay nice and put. So when you try to flip something, you won't accidentally shift a whole bunch of stuff with it. However, if you don't want a game mat, or if you're allergic to the materials or something like that, you do have the board that's included in the base game. We have the player mats, which are the player board. So these go in front of each player with your time machines that Lee's looking at. So you have Kylan, June, Laren, and Tacy. And these will be where you hold your time gems, your time locks, your money, and then you have your 10 spaces for your 10 resource limit that you have. You have it on the multiplayer side. You can take up to 3 actions. On the solo side, when you're playing the solo game, you could take up to 5 actions.
Each player has their own time machine board. So it's a trifold here, but basically this is where you're going to be capturing your events, putting your Timelancers to activate, and then upgrading your time machine.
9 spots for 9 events. So a advanced game, you'll want to fill up all the spots for all 9 events, but in a base game, you'll only be playing 5 events. Then in the bottom of this, we have our faction cards and reference cards. Faction cards, which have the goals, either advanced side or the traditional side. So this side, you'll be getting 5 of the events on your time machine. Included in this is the Kickstarter edition. So included in this, we have 2 extra. So we have Proximian and Dynantum, which are 2 special factions that are included that were unlocked in the Kickstarter with stretch goals. So those are here. Normally the base game would just come with the other 8. And you have reference cards, which will have all the symbols for you because our game does have a lot of symbols. We tried to make it as language independent as possible. There is some flavor text that is in English in this game. However, most of the actions that you'll be taking use symbols, and those are all on the reference card.
Got 2 decks of smaller cards. There's a name for these, right?
Small cards.
Small cards.
Mini cards.
Mini cards, small cards. 1 deck on the back here. These are the Enforcer cards. So as you're playing, it basically tells you where the Enforcer is going to be going and what to do when they do go there. Next, we have the side jobs here. So in the essence of being a freelancer, a Timelancer, you're also able to work towards mini goals or side jobs as you're going through to get a little bit more points. So as you're playing and trying to complete your main goal, these are just the side goals or side jobs that you can complete too.
And in the Kickstarter version, we have the wild side jobs. Normally in the side jobs, you'd have the ancient events, you'd have modern events, and you'd have Middle Ages events. So the different event types that you would go after, and they would score you different points depending on if it's modern, Middle Ages, or ancient, and you get 1, 2, or 3 for those. But we also have the wild cards that are included because of the stretch goals that were unlocked. So you have 4 wild cards. So you have 2 moderns, 1 Middle Ages, and 1 ancient, and they can be used for any event type, and they score 3, 2, and 1 according to that. One thing with the mini cards is they fit nicely into the standard mini card sleeves that you get. These aren't included with the game. I just have these just to demonstrate that you can put them in. And there's plenty of room in the insert for these to go. So you just put them in and then they fit nicely in the insert. And you can see, I don't know if you can see down exactly, but you'll see these don't fill up all the way in the insert because there's enough room to sleeve everything and put them in on both sides. However, we don't usually sleeve our games, but I know a lot of people do. So the standard mini size for a mini card sleeve will fit the side jobs and the Enforcer cards.
Next, we have the little blue crystals. These are the time gems. These are the fuel to time travel.
My favorite part of it are the event cards. So there's 4 different types of events. There are cultural events, which are green. There are military events, which are red. There are science events, which are blue. And there are social events, which are yellow. So we have like the Black Death, or we have Julius Caesar assassinated. We have First Voyage of Columbus. We have the Code of Hammurabi. We have JFK assassination. We have the sinking of the Titanic. That was one of the cards that was unlocked with the stretch goal in the Kickstarter, is the sinking of the Titanic. It was voted on by the backers of the game.
Let's see, let's start at military. We've got some of them like D-Day, Gulf War Air Campaign, Battle of Hastings. I think my favorite of all these is Harriet Tubman leads the raid on Combahee Ferry.
Science, you have the invention of cuneiform, Marie Curie, invention of dentistry, double helix, Darwin's inspiration for evolution, glasses, gunpowder, landing on the moon, invention of the airplane, invention of the Tesla coil that was also voted on by the backers and included as a stretch goal in the game as well.
For the green ones, the cultural, we've got Michelangelo paints the Sistine Chapel, Sun Tzu writes The Art of War, first official game of baseball. I think you really like baseball, so you should like that one. Then we've got H.G. Wells writes The Time Machine. This was another one of the Kickstarter's goals that got voted on.
And these are the same size as 7 Wonder cards. So if you're going to be sleeving these, we use the Mayday Game 7 Wonder pack for these. Again, these aren't included with this, but you can buy these on Amazon and they'll fit the cards nicely. Or anything else, if you just search for sleeves for 7 Wonders, our cards are the same size as the 7 Wonder cards. And once again, when you're looking at it, when you get it, they will look like it's not that deep and that there's more room. That's because it's meant to be sleeved, and there's plenty of room for the sleeves in the box. So the cards will go right there for the event cards, sleeved. Then the side jobs and Enforcer cards will go in their respective sides. So you can see the city tiles are double-sided. So you have armor on one side, you're gonna have one ability, and then if you revise history and you end up changing that event type, on the other side you'll have $1 for 1 gun. So there's different actions on each side. And then as history is revised, whether it's a military event, science event, or a cultural event, or social event, those will be determining which tiles are flipped. And then these fit in the bottom tray down in the bottom. The next thing that we have is the Enforcer expansion. So if you're looking for a 5-player game, 1 versus many mechanic, then you can have the Enforcer expansion. Now the Enforcer piece already comes with the base game because it's used in the regular game and in the solo game. But if you want to have a 5-player game and you want someone to play as the Enforcer, you can get the Enforcer expansion. A cardboard board for the Enforcer, where they will take their actions. You can see that their board looks different from the Timelancer board because they have different actions that they're going after. It will include a rule book for them. It will include 3 new city tiles, the Enforcer headquarters, the prison, and the alley. Once again, double-sided, and these ones are different colors on each side for their actions. Plus, it will include more money because the Enforcer's main goal is to collect money. Each dollar for the Enforcer will be points, and so that's how they're going to score points. But at the end of the game is counting up how much money they have. So there's more money. All of the money, the city tiles, and the cards that are included will all also fit in the base game. So the deluxe Kickstarter box is designed to include all the materials that you can buy, the base game, the expansion, and the game mat. So we have 4 Enforcer event cards, and this will be an action that will be taken on the alley that the Timelancers can go on, and they can stop the Enforcer from going to a certain event type. Then you have the alley Enforcer card, and the prison Enforcer card, and the Enforcer headquarters. Plus you have the Enforcer bribe cards. As the Enforcer is going around the board, if he goes on the spot with a Timelancer, then they have to pay him a bribe. At the start of the game, it's $1, so it'll start off like that. Then as the game goes on, you'll flip these over. It'll go to $3. And then as the game goes on, it'll go over $5. And the number of actions that the Enforcer is allowed to take decreases as well as the game goes on. So that's all the stuff that's included in the Enforcer expansion. So the reference cards and the faction cards go at the bottom. Then the player boards and the Enforcer board is designed to go right there. And then the player cards designed to go right there. Now let's look at the game map.
We've got our Janusburg city map.
So it's a mat. Ooh, the color looks very nice. Why we like the mat? Because when you're playing and they're all the pieces are out on the board and you have to flip one, it's easy to push it down and flip it. That's why we designed the game with that in mind. However, after our first Kickstarter, we got some feedback saying people didn't want it included in it because of materials they may be allergic to and or they just may not want to have the mat. So we have the cardboard included, and then you can get the mat separately. Board sits right on there. Then the clear insert goes on top with the characters like we already went over. So let's start punching stuff out and filling up real quick. We can do this as a time lapse. So you can see once everything is split up in between the 2 equally, you'll have the 6 main resources, you have the 2 different types of money, you have your time gems, you have your upgrades, and you have your time locks. Both fit in there nicely. And then go on to the respective spots. Then you have a game mat. You just roll the game mat. And the game mat fits nicely into the center. Then you have the expansion rulebook. Slide that into the main rulebook. Put it on top. And then you have the game.
And that was our unboxing of Timelancers.
Our game is still available on late pledge now. You got about 2 weeks, depending on when you're watching this video. So if you'd like to back the game and get a copy delivered to you at the same time as our backers, make sure you check out that link in our description. And as always, if you're enjoying our content, please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
And I'm Kenny. And go party like a board gamer.